All right, Mark, thank you very much. Here in the Blue Jackets dressing room after this 5-0 loss to the Detroit Red Wings. Kind of a empty space here right now, but we'll get some players to come out and talk about this one tonight. It's fair to say this was the most disappointing effort. I think even if you look back at that Tampa game that the Blue Jackets played here a couple of weeks ago, they had a chance to make something of that in the latter part of the game when they gave a push during the late second and all the way through the third period. But tonight they just didn't have a push. They didn't have an answer for the Detroit Red Wings, and so that's what makes this one even more disappointing for the Blue Jackets here this evening. And and it is one of those nights. There's no question about that. But it doesn't make one of those nights any easier to deal with. So Blue Jackets will have to put this one behind them as quick as they can as we get some of the players coming out here. Let's hear from Jack. Can I get you for just a second?
Yep.
And we talked there at the end of the second period about how to change things in the third period. It just looked like Detroit really made it tough on you guys. They made you spend a lot of time in your own zone here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, they played well. I thought they moved the puck better than we did, particularly in the neutral zone. And that's a good team. They had a lot of talented players. They made some good plays, and we had a couple opportunities, but we didn't score any goals. And it's very cliche-ish, but if you can't score, you're not going to win. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many goals you give up. If you can't score, they only need one.
You guys look so in sync the last two games, and it just looked discombobulated. And as you said, they are a good team, no question. But what things did you guys do that kind of didn't help your own cause tonight?
We didn't connect on a lot of passes. I thought coming out of your zone, you got to make 2 or 3 complete passes, and I think they look like from the bench anyways. Again, it's coaches are going to have a better idea when they actually sit down and analyze it. But it seemed like we made a lot of one passes, and the second pass would not connect, and then it's a turnover and it's coming back at you. And there's a lot of transition play not in our favor. So I think that's what made it hard tonight.
Jack, it seemed like the life went out of you guys after Boone's goal was taken off the board. Did you feel that as well?
No, I mean, to be honest with me personally, no. I think we were kind of hoping we'd turn around and get another one immediately because we still had a lot of time left on the power play, and we're like, all right, let's just get another one. And it was still in the first period, so we never thought in a million years we'd get shut out tonight. So I think that was, I can't speak. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody thought that was the end of the world.
Jack, it was a tight game until third period. The wheels kind of came off the wagon. For this team, has there been a third period struggle or maybe something you guys need to adjust to in third periods?
Well, I think particularly tonight, we kind of had to open it up a little bit. We hadn't scored a goal yet. And so, maybe sometimes you do have to take a few more chances just because you're hoping a bounce will go in your favor because you have to try something. We weren't scoring, and so you got to try and create an on-man rush, maybe take a chance here or there, and nothing worked for us. And they piled it on. I mean, truthfully, it doesn't matter at the end of the game. I mean, if you lose 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, it doesn't really matter. It's a loss.
Defenseman Jack Johnson talking with us here in the Blue Jackets dressing room tonight after this 5-0 shutout to the Detroit Red Wings. Loiter for just another minute or two and see if anybody else comes out. And that was a very candid conversation by Jack Johnson right there. And it's, he's absolutely right. The Red Wings did a lot of good things here tonight, but there are a lot of things the Blue Jackets didn't do that they have been doing. And that was their undoing in this game this evening. No question about it. He's dead on with the passing. The passing was really not crisp all night long for whatever reason, whether it was, you can't look at it and blame it on the ice in any way, shape, or form because the Red Wings were able to connect on their passes. The Blue Jackets just didn't have it tonight. There was just something that was not in sync about this team here this evening and the things that they were trying to do and the plays that they were trying to make. There's no doubt about that. So, again, disappointment reigns here for the Blue Jackets, a team that was just starting to feel pretty good about itself after back-to-back victories over the Philadelphia Flyers and the San Jose Sharks. But this one's going to sting. And I'll tell you, for the next couple of days, they're going to be thinking about this one long and hard and hopefully using it for motivation to get ready for the game on Friday against the Boston Bruins, which the schedule gets no easier. You've got Boston here on Friday. You've got to go to Philadelphia and play again against the Flyers on Saturday. So, these games are going to come at you fast and furious. There's going to be the division game against Philadelphia and game against Boston, who's always one of the favorites to win the Eastern Conference and represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Final. So these games they're big. The good thing about the Friday game for the Blue Jackets is they do get it here on home ice in Nationwide Arena. Again, something they talk about needing to take care of their home ice. They were able to do it against the Sharks on Saturday. Just didn't do it effectively here tonight at all. And that was really from the opening face-off until the final horn here tonight, where they just, again, just didn't have it. Just wasn't enough there. Well, I think once the newspaper guys head out of here, that's pretty much all she wrote from the dressing room. So we'll just wait for head coach Todd Richards. He will have plenty of things to say about this one tonight, no doubt. And, again, don't look for him to be very happy. Nobody is going to be that's involved with this team tonight. And we will have more for you coming up as the Tim Hortons postgame show continues here at BlueJackets.com and on the Scioto Downs Columbus Blue Jackets Radio Network. to Columbus this year. Right there it was. Makes you say thank goodness, doesn't it? If that's the way it's going to be. But the Red Wings, they set the tone. They dictated the tone. And this entire game tonight, there was really nothing the Blue Jackets could do to change it. And that's basically what Jack Johnson just told me a couple of minutes ago. They couldn't overcome the Detroit Red Wings tonight. And again, it's very dangerous to look at the Red Wings and see that Pavel Datsyuk is not going to play in the game and automatically figure, well, this is going to be an easy game. This is just another reminder that there is no easy game in this league, and there's no easy game against the Red Wings with or without Pavel Datsyuk or Henrik Zetterberg, because the Thomas Tatars, the Thomas Yurkos, the Gustav Nyquist, those guys, they know how to play. And they've had the experience. They won a Calder Cup 2 years ago in the American Hockey League when they were in Grand Rapids. They came here. They got plenty of playing time last year. A guy like Luke Glendening was a guy that wasn't even on the radar to make the team coming out of training camp last year. He did make the team. He's a very bothersome fourth-line guy who just gets in your face and he wins face-offs. And, they have a lot of players like that. So it seems like the older they get, the younger they get at the same time, because they got forced to put some of those young players into the mix last year, and they got that experience, and you saw it starting to pay off for them again here tonight. And Jimmy Howard, 2.11 goals against average coming into this game. Again, he's a guy that is he's vulnerable. He can be vulnerable, but not unless you make him be vulnerable. And the Blue Jackets never did that tonight. Right now, head coach Todd Richards goes to the podium. Let's listen in to his press conference.
Seemed like a regression for you guys after the previous two games, and judging by your ice time there in the third, I'm guessing you put it on your top couple of lines, or perhaps Johansson in particular. Just a disappointment in your top guys.
Not putting it on one guy. It's a team effort. 2-0 game. We were okay. We weren't great. I wouldn't say we were bad, but it's 2-0 game. We're in it. And then we self-destruct in the third period.
Where did the forecheck go? Is that something Detroit did or something you didn't do?
They did a good job clogging up the neutral zone, denying speed through. Execution wasn't good. I didn't make an adjustment probably quick enough so we could get it in. I would say a combination of both.
Did you hold your breath a little bit there in the third when Nick Foligno looked like he tried to get some things going, or were you happy with what he did, or both?
I don't know if I was happy. I think there was a lot of emotions at that point, frustration, anger, and Nicky. To me, he didn't put the team shorthanded. Was a big thing. Stood up for himself, stood up for the team, but he didn't put the team shorthanded. That's the best way to say it.
Richie, you guys chart forechecks. Could you say how many you had in the second and the third?
Right now, I don't know.
Not enough.
I'm sorry?
Not enough.
Not enough because we didn't spend enough time in their own zone. In their zone, I'm sorry.
How tired are you getting of the penalties and being shorthanded? Because the kill is not the great end the other night, notwithstanding. The kill has been sort of struggling for a while now. How difficult is it for you to see these penalties and going down when you know that's the reality?
There's certain penalties that you can live with because it happens in the game. It's part of the game. But there are other penalties that are just undisciplined. And we took a couple undisciplined penalties in the third period.
Todd Boone's goal being disallowed, did that take some of the wind out of your sails?
It takes a little bit of wind out of your sails, but I still thought the bench was positive and guys were ready to work and move along. It was disappointing, but still lots of hockey. And I think at that point it was a 1-0 game? 1-0 game. So still lots of hockey.
It looked like he was being knocked off balance or taken down at the least as that went in. Should that have counted in your mind when you saw the replay?
I haven't looked at it closely enough to have a really good opinion on it. Again, you trust when they go to video replay that they'll get it right.
Just Nick's, can you update us on Nick's situation? He didn't return to the game, obviously, after the fight.
I've yet to talk to Mike Vogt.
Thanks.
Well, there's head coach Todd Richards talking about his team's loss tonight, 5-0 to the Detroit Red Wings. Jody Shelley joins me right now. And Jody, if you go back to the Tampa game a couple of weeks ago, the Blue Jackets got down 4-0 in the first period, but they rallied and they found a way to at least make something positive out of that game and something that started to build. And eventually they win in Philadelphia. They win against the San Jose Sharks on Saturday. Apparently that's the wrong answer. It sounds like we're in a submarine that's ready to go under, which I felt like that throughout most of this game, to be honest with you. But for the Blue Jackets, as I was saying, they found some momentum in that Tampa game. Tonight they found nothing, and it seemed like it just kind of got progressively worse as it went along here tonight.
Well, yeah, but I thought they were still in it. So you go into the start of the third period, they have a power play. And, they did nothing with the power play, and then they take a penalty, and the next thing it's 3-0. That, to me, was the point of the game where it's like, okay, you have an opportunity coming out of a period with fresh ice to do something, and it didn't happen. If you go back to the beginning, we knew Detroit is coming off a bad loss at home. They got called out by their coach. We knew they were going to respond, and the Columbus Blue Jackets having that success, having that response, like if you go back to Tampa, like you said, 2 good games, and then I felt it was a letdown coming into tonight. The details. Mike Babcock called out his players in 3 areas, and it was face-offs, skating, and managing the puck. And boy, I thought they did a good job at that tonight, and the Blue Jackets got away from that, and that's where Detroit played their game. It was Detroit all the way, there's no question. But I go back to that end of the second and start of the third. The Jackets were still in it, and then from there, bad penalty, then the Hartnell took that double minor, and then the game was sent. But, I just was disappointed, I think you were too, in the details of this game that weren't executed, and you could see Todd Richards there. That's what you thought you would expect that the team would bring that tonight for the Blue Jackets.
Especially the way they played the last 2 games, which were very detail-oriented games. They came into this one saying this morning, we want to win 3 in a row, and I believe them. They did want to win 3 in a row, but they didn't go out there and do the things tonight that it took to win that 3rd game in a row. And I thought Jack Johnson really nailed it when he told us just a few minutes ago that the passing tonight, they just didn't have good passes. They didn't get the puck out of the zone well. They didn't make passes. The forwards didn't pass well to each other. The defense didn't get the puck to the forwards well tonight. The passing was just off and out of sync all night.
Well, here's the thing, too. You got to credit the Detroit Red Wings. They play a very stingy style. And passing, if you're going to pass east-west from boards to boards, Detroit loves that. If you're going to talk about little 6-foot passes, that to me is support. It tells me that the other guys on your line aren't supporting you well and working for you to get over there. They didn't win. The first face-offs tonight, the first 7 went to the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, that's the initial battle, the first one-on-one to start a series. They lost the first 7 right away to Detroit. That just shows you right away that they weren't sharp in the circle and that Detroit was.
All right, so where are the Blue Jackets now? We knew where they were at the start of the day. Flying high, back-to-back wins, had snapped their 9-game winless streak. They had everything going in the right direction. What are those guys feeling like at the end of this? Where are they right now?
Well, it's Tuesday. They don't play till Friday, so they got a couple of these long days again. Matt Calvert's activated off IR. Jack Skilly's activated off our IR. So a couple of guys that played the last couple of weeks, we might not see them in the lineup. And that's competition. That's on them. They were supposed to show up tonight and bring their work. So there's going to be some revamping. There's going to be, I think they've been kicked back down to reality maybe a little bit in the sense of, hey, you won 2 in a row. They always talk. You don't let the wins, the good times get too high and the bad times bring you too low. Steve and Keel might have got a little high. Who knows? We can say that now that the game is over. But they're going to be back on track, and it's good old hard work, I think, starting again tomorrow.
Would you want to participate in practice tomorrow?
There's no chance. I mean, That's not an easy week, especially coming off the 9-game losing streak. There was a bright spot here, but it's hopefully this is just one little blip and they get back and play Jackets hockey. Just want to see Jackets hockey against the Boston Bruins and then take it from there.
No question. Bruins here on Friday, Blue Jackets in Philadelphia on Saturday. That'll do it for our portion here tonight. For Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott saying so long. That'll do it on BlueJackets.com, but stay tuned. Mark Wyatt has more for you next on the Scioto Downs Columbus Blue Jackets Radio Network.